You are watching a master at work.
Alright, so one of the things you want to do is if you get a pump, make sure it's not a shitty milling. And I don't say this because milling is like a bad pump, it's just their aluminum casting is trash, so you can't put a hold down bolt in there because it's completely different. When you try and tighten it, it just gets pissed and strips because the metal is weak. So what you want to do is get your O-ring. I have a MOROSO pickup tube. And you just oil it up before you put it on. But before we do that, what we're going to do is put on the windage tray. So I'm going to take the windage tray here to make sure that it's clean. And this one you have to modify. Pretty much any factory windage tray you have to modify slightly, no matter what it is. Just because the little edges don't clear MOROSO pans, just for the trapdoor and the extra sumps and stuff, or the extra sump capacity. So you just want to do all that, clean it up. It's steel, so it's not going to do anything. It's got a front label, so you know where it goes. You want to lift it like that. Also is these MOROSO stud kit right here. You Loctite all these threads in, because if you don't, they'll spin out. So you want to be careful about that. So we'll get our pickup here. I'm actually going to take this blue O-ring that MOROSO supplied with their pickup and oil it real quick. 1 second. Kind of roll it on like that. You don't want to do anything dry. That's Viton or rubber, because it'll cause problems potentially. So you do this, kind of like seat it. Like so. And what I like to do is Loctite the hold down bolt for the oil pickup so it doesn't come loose. In my opinion, a lot of GM LS stuff runs without a spare hold down bolt, so you can pretty much just get away with that. Alright, my neighbors are got a freaking haul away here. They're smashing the freaking whole roll off here. What you do is you just Loctite the hold down bolt like so. Make sure you push it in to seat it. I kind of hand thread it first to start. And then it's actually going to be a little tiny 1/4 inch drive to get in there. Otherwise, if you have the front cover on, it's going to be tough to get into it. Especially with the hold down bolt if that's what you're doing. And you got to work quick too because the Loctite will dry. I just like to do this. Kind of seat the pickup like so. Like that. So you do that. If you can see, the pickup is tight and flush and not off-centered on this side. You know, you can kind of check, because that O-ring is important. And then obviously you make sure that the windage tray is as far forward as you can get, and then tighten everything. And just like that, you have a secured windage tray and MOROSO oil pickup too. And these MOROSO Allen studs are secure for the oil pan. Now it's time to clean the gasket surface, put the pan on, and obviously the gasket first and then the pan, but I'll show you as a little trick that MOROSO sends that doesn't give you any instructions. It's kind of confusing at first. So what you want to do is when you're doing an LS gasket, get this part number, because it's 24 bucks. And the factory GM or AC Delco oil pan gasket is like 56 bucks. So I really don't want to pay that kind of money for something that should not be that expensive, you know? So, improved racing, the jam for cheap LS stuff. So before you put it on, like so, you know, it's going to be tough because these little O-rings seal on this gasket. But you want to do the China, or not the China rails, but the front and rear cover connections with black RTV, so they seal. So I like using Permatex stuff, not because the Drifter fanboy sponsor guys do it, just because it works. So just kind of run like a light bead like so across the rail like that. I'll probably use my hands. Kind of smooth it out. Yeah, you just don't want an oil leak. Then you'd be pissed. So just do that. Kind of smear the gasket around like so. So then take the gasket, obviously. I don't think it really goes on any other way than so. Just drop it on. Get a little variance. And the thing about this pan is two of the bolts go in weird. So what you gotta do is make sure your surface is clean, blah blah blah. It's a brand new part, but still, you wanna make sure. So then you kind of just line it up with everything, slumping everything, kind of push it on, and then get your MOROSO bolts, like I have, or your nuts I should say, because it's the stud pan kit. Slop them on there. You know, obviously do this in kind of an orderly fashion, because you don't want to take all the time in the world, because that gasket stuff sets up. And there are two different size nuts that they send you. The tiny ones are for the ones in the back over here. I think they're like an 8 or something. And then the other ones, the normal ones, are like a 12 or a 13. Something like that. I'm not really fast at doing stuff, but it's okay. Nobody ever won an engine performance test by building it fast unless you're like Wyotech or something, which doesn't really matter. It's all about consistency and being methodical in your assembly. The devil's in the details on this stuff. Alright, so here's the tricky part. On my block, it actually doesn't have a hole here, so it's kind of weird. I don't know if this is a fix or something, but as you can see there's like a hole slot, but it's like, it's completely blank. Same on the oil pan. The oil pan's blank. So to get this to fit, these bolts are kind of confusing. These actually go down in here, like so. And MOROSO doesn't have that in their instructions, and you can kind of see this little like slot right here. It's kind of annoying. So you just make sure you got all your stuff for tightening things. So I'm just gonna get to thing on here and tighten the bolts here. Alright, so I think the pan's good, man. I'm just gonna let it chill. I'm gonna let it sit. I mean, everything looks good as far as crush goes. So, you got your RTV, and then tightening these guys, that was kind of a pain. I mean, everything looks flush. So I just used my hands. I didn't really torque spec it. Everything looks okay here, so got some gasket material coming out like that, whatever. Let's make it flush here. But I think that's good, man. So, public service announcement, I want to tell you people, do not buy this MOROSO 3854-1 pan kit. The stud kit, it is trash. I literally torqued this to 18 foot-pounds and it snapped completely off already. In the correct OEM pattern, it snapped off. Look at this sucky metal. Look at this. It's like look at this, man. Look at that horrible cast. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is straight up from China. Look at the fracture. Like, how can you sell something like that? This thing was not like, you know, it wasn't like cheap, but it wasn't free, obviously, but geez. So don't ever buy anything other than MOROSO pans. Don't buy any of their external crap. It sucks. Oh, that is a victory. Look at the victory. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is such victory. Oh, I love you. I love you, Easy Out Kit. Thank you, God. Jeez. Freaking ridiculous, dude. When in doubt, I guess use the factory bolt from GM. Just like that, whatever. That'll have to do, and I'll just keep the other bolts in case it freaking snaps again. I'm not pumped. I'm not at all. I'm angry. But I'm glad I got the bolt out. Alright, so the only other thing I'm doing is these Taylor Street Thunder wires, the 90 degrees. It's the part number in case you want to know. It's actually supposed to be really Gucci on not allowing your, what do you call it, your freaking header or whatever you have to not wreck your freaking plug wires. Supposed to work pretty, you know, good. They're titanium. Certified grade A China probably. I think the two coils that are broken are on that side, but yeah, you basically just plug a little metal ring. So I would imagine that this part goes up, thick part here. So that just makes sense. And the thin part goes here. Alright everyone, so as you can see I'm baking just because it's hot-ish, humid. But I got the Taylor Street spark plug wires on. We'll see if that's good. Some people say that these boots insulate the heat into these wires so that they actually cause them to burn. So I'm going to get some reconciliation on that, but I also need 2 new coils because this one is cracked here at the leg. That's why I have tape on it, and then this one has a cracked plug. Otherwise these 2 are good. I got the ICT billet stuff and the speedway here to relocate it, and I have an F-body power steering pump over there. Just kind of put it here, and then the alternator is going to go, I think, right here or right here. I can't remember how that kit looks, but it's a 5.3 turbo kit basically. So yeah, this thing's pretty much just needs injectors and rails and, you know, hoses in a car. I just need to put the monster kit on over there, the flywheel and the clutch and all that. So freaking close. But thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Back on my handheld camera, no more phone stuff, so appreciate you guys bearing with me here. I just haven't had time. A lot of stuff going on, so appreciate it. Thanks.